Hello guys, and this week was very successful for the Ukrainian drones delivering very hot messages to the Russian oil refineries. And this is going to be a very long Russian geography lesson because finally the strategy is back on the track. I had a feeling that our allies, I don't know why, restricted Ukraine from targeting Russian oil refineries, but finally we are allowed to continue defending ourselves. What a good decision. And this week we targeted a lot of oil refining facilities, but I want to start with the most recent strike on the oil refinery of Lukoil, located 2,000 kilometers away from the Ukrainian border in the Republic of Komi. I'm sure you've never heard about this republic inside the Russian Federation. It also has a great potential to become independent one day. And most importantly, more and more people in these very distant regions of the Russian Federation understand that war is back home to Russia and the size does not protect them anymore. What is also interesting, this happens in the context of serious shortages of fuel inside the country that was always described as a gas station with mafia at the top. And Russians had to ban the export of gasoline literally because the prices keep rising and ordinary population cannot afford buying that petrol. I wonder, did they think about that when they cheered for the war in Ukraine? Somehow they did not predict that this war will return back to dozens and dozens of the Russian regions. My name is Anna, I'm from Ukraine, I'm in Ukraine, and if you want to see the defeat and demilitarization of Russia, that is the only working peace plan, subscribe. And please share these videos if you share my opinion. And thumbs up for all of the destroyed Russian oil refineries. And let's start with the most recent strike that happened last night when Ukrainian drones reached the Republic of Komi, located in the far east, far north of the Russian Federation, inhabited by Nenets people, which are not Muscovites. And somewhere later, when we finish with the Putin's regime, we can discuss more about this diversity of once known place as the Russian Federation. So Komi Republic is located 2,000 kilometers away from the Ukrainian border. The Kremlin uses it as resources, sucking all the money out of such republics, and Lukoil facilities are there. Lukoil is one of those unlucky companies that was once the symbol of Russian abnormal wealth and now is the symbol of the collapsing Russian economy because both Lukoil and Gazprom report tremendous losses. And no, I'm not exaggerating when I speak about the really bad situation for the Russian economy, and hopefully Putin will keep believing those people who constantly satisfy his desires, and the collapse of the Russian economy together with the collapse of his regime will come soon and quite unpredictably for the Kremlin goblin. So in that Republic of Komi, they literally didn't know how to comment on the accident. Like it's not an accident, when the swarms of drones travel from the other country, 2,000 kilometers unstoppable, demonstrating the failure of the Russian air defense, interception, intelligence, and just everything. And after the attack happened, they switched off the internet, and now it really looks not that they protect, objects from targeting, but that they actually hide the truth from the population and prevent people from sharing. They do not educate them. They don't teach them basic military, not military, but media military literacy, and they simply shut down everything as they did in communist times. The airport was not working there because Russia is a no-fly zone, and their company Aeroflot should be renamed into Aeroflop, as many of you beautiful people suggested. Subscribe and share the videos. That's the easiest way to demonstrate your solidarity with Ukraine. That Lukoil oil refinery was capable of processing 4.2 million tons per year, and there are dozens of oil refineries that are not operating right now. The damages are serious because Donald Trump still did not lift sanctions and hopefully won't do that. Russia cannot repair them properly and they are paralyzed, or at least it takes months and months and months to repair them, leading to serious shortages of gasoline inside the Russian Federation, the country that has always been described as a gas station with a mafia at its top, now does not have enough petrol for its own population. And the prices keep rising, plus 18% for ordinary people and for wholesale plus 30. Just imagine that. I think if something similar happened in the United States or France, people would go out on strikes, but in Russia, they don't have any hopes for that country. I don't know if you've noticed, but all the discourse, all the plans in Russia, they are always about the past. They don't have any hopes for their future. They know they are not competitive, so they simply want to return back to the times that do not exist. And somehow they do not return even to this more or less strong periods of the Soviet Union, but to the very collapsing years of the Soviet Union when they literally had to fix prices to somehow slow down the inflation. Again, it did not save the Soviet Union from the collapse. In Saratov, it was also very hot. Ukrainian drones targeted another oil refinery there. Saratov is closer. That's why I did not start speaking about it, but in the middle, it's pretty important. This week, we have also visited Bashkortostan and Tatarstan, Yelabuga, Shahed drone factory that Russian propaganda has recently showed in one very, very staged film. So the Ukrainian drones decided, why not visit and check everything? So they did check and did destroy a huge arsenal of the already made drones. Guys, this is an investment in peace and security on the planet. This saves a lot of innocent lives, and please finally understand, this is not a local conflict. This is not about the territories. This is not about their resources. This is about the desire of Russia, China, Iran, and North Korea to change the world order. And trust me, you do not want to live in the world designed by people like, or not even people, Lukashenko, Putin, Xi Jinping, or some North Korean guys. So, plus they are super, apart from being authoritarian, disrespecting human life, not counting dignity as something important, they are also super negligent, if that's the right word, because they were building a huge military ship, Ushakov, and it sank. It was a new ship that sank in St. Petersburg, and they literally spent all night saving it, but no, it did not want to function inside the Russian Navy. They did not plan it for the Black Sea Fleet because there is no Russian Black Sea Fleet left, but they planned it for the North Fleet, and somehow the warship decided to quit even before it was delivered to the place of service or something like that. Russia is all like that. Russia is super negligent, super weak. They failed with their intelligence about Ukraine. They failed to deliver this special military operation as a blitzkrieg as they planned. And this war of attrition, if our allies remain united, if people do not close their eyes to this open Russian war crimes and literally websites of the stolen Ukrainian children that the Russians offer to buy, if the world simply remains a little bit healthy and adequate, we will defeat and demilitarize Russia, because the war of attrition does not mean that Ukraine exhausts fast. Plus, you have to remember, we are defending our land, and it's way different than those invaders who only fight, loot, and rape in Ukraine because of money. As soon as the Kremlin does not have enough money for them, they will return back, and the Kremlin will have serious problem, because that's a million of very hungry and very angry and very bloodthirsty people. And trust me, it's not only Donald Trump who does not have a strategy about the Russian war in Ukraine. It is also Putin who does not have a strategy or how to stop or get out of this war. This war equals to the survival of the Putin's regime, and he knows that. So by defeating the Russian army, we actually defeat the Putin and give a chance to this vast territory now known as the Russian Federation. And if you want to know, are there any good Russians, watch a new video on my new channel, Anna Danilchuk, where I introduce you to some other interesting terms like who are they, useful Russians. Please subscribe if you're new, and also subscribe to my X, Instagram, Blue Sky, Threads, and Discord. The links in the description of this video. Check our merch shop. There are lots of good items that work well as reminders and conversation starters about Ukraine, and I'm always grateful when you choose to be our ambassadors literally in every corner of the world. Thank you for buying me coffees, becoming my patrons and sponsors of the channel, but most importantly, thank you for standing with Ukraine. Slava Ukraini!